There comes a moment when yesterday feels heavier than any stone you could place on your shoulders. The past follows like a shadow, growing larger with every worry, every regret, every memory replayed. But what if life is not asking you to drag your history along? What if it is simply inviting you to walk free, with nothing but this breath, this heartbeat, this present moment as your companion? Living without carrying the past begins when we understand that memory is only a tool, not a prison. We can choose to keep the lessons and leave the pain behind. The past should never become chains that hold us back from becoming who we are meant to be. Every moment we spend reliving old wounds is a moment stolen from the life we could be living now. We are not our history, not our mistakes, not even our greatest achievements. What we have gone through may shape us, but it does not define the truth of our potential. When we cling to old identities, we shrink ourselves into a version that no longer fits the person we are growing into. The present demands a lighter mind that is ready to evolve beyond old labels and judgments. Letting go means allowing emotions to move, not locking them inside. When pain is expressed, it dissolves. When it is buried, it controls us. Forgiveness becomes a powerful act, not for the sake of others, but to free our inner world from the heavy grip of resentment. The moment we let the past lose its power, the heart expands and breaths become deeper. Accepting that change is the nature of existence gives us freedom. Life never repeats the same moment twice, yet we often cling to what has already ended. Gratitude helps us shift perspective, transforming each bitter memory into a hidden teacher. Instead of seeing damage, we start seeing strength. Instead of loss, we start seeing maturity. Every new day is an invitation to redefine yourself. You can choose new thoughts, build new habits, and step toward a future untouched by old burdens. When the mind stops dragging yesterday into today, the path ahead becomes brighter. Walk forward with awareness, with courage, with clarity, and allow the present moment to become the only weight you carry. You are not your history because the past is only a collection of moments that have already lost their power. People often imprison themselves in memories, believing that what happened before must control who they are now. But your identity is not carved into stone by old experiences. Every second of life is a chance to rise above what once limited you and to step into a version of yourself that your past could never imagine. When you stop letting history dictate your worth, a new sense of freedom emerges. Mistakes do not define you. They were moments of learning, not proof of failure. Every wrong turn became knowledge, every setback became strength, and every collapse became a foundation for growth. The person who walked through those trials is not the same person standing here today. If you allow your past errors to become your identity, you bury the greatness that is still unfolding within you. Leave those mistakes as lessons behind you, not labels on you. Trauma does not define you. Painful chapters may have left marks, but those marks are evidence of survival, not weakness. You endured storms others may not even understand. Instead of letting trauma chain you to old fears, let it shape your courage and deepen your compassion. You are not the wound. You are the healing that followed. Your strength today is far greater than what once tried to break you. Achievements do not define you either. If you cling to past glories, you freeze your growth. The medals, praise, and recognition you received before are only milestones, not destinations. There is more potential inside you waiting to be expressed. Life is movement, and real success is letting your abilities expand beyond what you have already done. Celebrate the victories, but never stop evolving. You are a constantly changing being, renewed by each breath you take. Identity is not a memory, identity is what you choose to become in this moment. When yesterday loses its grip, the future becomes limitless. Break free from every belief that says you are only what you have been. You are possibility, you are transformation, you are becoming, and that is far more powerful than anything your past ever tried to define. Life is happening only in this moment, yet most people spend their days lost in what has already ended. The mind keeps replaying scenes that no longer exist, trapping us in a world that has passed. When attention is stuck in yesterday, the beauty of today becomes invisible. The present is the only place where life breathes, grows and changes. Ignoring it means ignoring reality itself. Every thought that pulls you toward old memories is stealing energy that could build a better life right now. The past cannot be touched, cannot be changed, cannot be relived. It is nothing more than a shadow, and living in its darkness only blinds you to the possibilities standing in front of you. When you choose presence, you choose power, clarity, and life without distortion. The present is not just time, it is your true existence. Your heart beats now, your breath flows now, and every decision that shapes your destiny happens now. If you allow your mind to chase ghosts of yesterday, you are surrendering control of your own life. To embrace this moment fully is to take back your inner authority and guide yourself forward with intention. Peace is found only here, anxiety is born from the future, and sadness grows from the past. But in this single second, free from all stories, there is silence, there is balance, there is truth. The present wipes away the weight of regrets and the fear of what might come. It offers a clean slate every time you return to it with awareness. To live in the present is to awaken. It means seeing life with fresh eyes instead of through the fog of memories. It means giving every step, every word, and every breath the attention it deserves. When you stop reliving what is gone and stop worrying about what has not arrived, the world reveals its real colors. The present becomes not just a moment, but a new beginning with every heartbeat. Labels from the past limit the vastness of who you truly are. People see you through the lens of old stories, old behaviors, old versions of you that no longer exist. When you allow those labels to define you, you shrink your life into the size of their assumptions. You begin to live according to their memory of you instead of your own evolving truth. What you once were should never hold power over what you can become. Many people will try to remind you of your past because it makes them comfortable. They fear change, especially when that change is happening within you. They may say, "You can't, you're not like that," or "This is just who you are," because they refuse to see the growth unfolding in front of them. But their comfort should never become your cage. Your journey is not meant to be lived inside the boundaries others draw for you. Every moment in life recreates you. The thoughts you choose today reshape your identity. The decisions you make today rewrite your character. Yesterday's personality does not own you anymore. You are allowed to change your mind, your habits, your dreams, your entire direction. Transformation is your natural right, and no one has the authority to freeze you in time unless you surrender that freedom yourself. When you detach from external judgments, you liberate your spirit. You stop needing approval. You stop performing for acceptance. You stop apologizing for growth. The world may struggle to understand your evolution, but evolution was never meant to be understood by everyone. It is a personal uprising, a shift that only your heart can feel and only your actions can express. To walk forward without carrying labels means trusting the person you are becoming more than the person you have been. The only identity worth holding on to is the one you consciously choose. Every second offers a new chance to redefine yourself. The past version of you is gone, the opinions of others are irrelevant, and the future is wide open for the person who dares to live unbound. Forgiveness is not about changing the past, it is about releasing its grip on your soul. Every hurt that is held inside becomes a heavy chain, restricting your growth and poisoning your peace. When you keep replaying what someone did to you, you allow that moment to keep happening again and again in your mind. The event may be over, but its impact continues to live through your pain. Forgiveness breaks that cycle. Carrying resentment does not punish the one who hurt you, it punishes you. Anger turns into stress, stress turns into fear, and fear turns into emotional paralysis. Your heart becomes a battlefield where old wounds keep reopening. When you forgive, you are not erasing the memory, you are removing the dagger lodged in your heart. You are choosing to heal instead of bleed. Forgiveness does not mean you must return to the same people or accept the same behavior. It means you choose inner peace over inner conflict. It means you understand that your mental freedom matters more than revenge or justification. You step out of the role of a victim and reclaim the power that was once taken from you. Your dignity rises when your bitterness falls. Some hurts are deep, carved by betrayal, loss or injustice. Healing may take time and forgiveness may come in layers. But every small step toward letting go brings strength back into your life. You begin to see that the wound taught you resilience, awareness and courage you never knew you had. What was once a scar becomes a symbol of survival. Forgiveness is ultimately a gift you give yourself. It allows your heart to breathe again, to love again, to trust again. When the past loses its authority over your emotions, you move without weight and live without fear. Letting go is not forgetting what happened. It is remembering your worth and choosing to rise above what tried to break you. Emotions are energy, and when they are suppressed, they stagnate inside you, creating invisible walls that block your growth. Every tear you hold back, every word you refuse to speak, and every feeling you bury becomes weight you carry without even realizing it. Life is not meant to be lived as a quiet struggle, it is meant to be felt fully. Allowing emotions to flow is the way the soul clears itself and regains balance. Holding on to pain does not make you strong, it makes you heavy. Anger, grief, fear and sadness are signals, not enemies. They are messages from within, asking to be seen, heard and released. Ignoring them only gives them power over your mind and body, while expressing them allows you to reclaim control. Facing your emotions head-on is a demonstration of courage, not weakness. Expression can take many forms. Speaking aloud to someone you trust, writing your thoughts or simply sitting in silence with what you feel are all valid ways to honor your emotions. Each act of expression chips away at the burden you have been carrying. The more openly you allow yourself to feel, the lighter your spirit becomes and the more room there is for clarity and strength. Emotions flow naturally like a river, and when blocked, they create turbulence and confusion. Life demands movement and emotional stagnation disrupts that flow. By letting feelings move through you, you prevent them from hardening into resentment, fear or regret. You create a pathway for healing, insight and an inner peace that is unshakable. To live fully, you must accept that emotions are not obstacles but guides. They show where you are stuck, what needs attention and where you need release. When you allow them to pass without clinging or suppressing, you step into a lighter, freer version of yourself. The energy that was once trapped in suffering transforms into clarity, motivation, and the ability to engage with life openly and powerfully. Every thought you entertain shapes the reality you experience. The mind is not a passive observer, it is a powerful creator. When you allow old, negative patterns to dominate, you unconsciously reconstruct the past in your present. Each repetitive worry, fear, or regret becomes a blueprint for the life you continue to experience. Conscious thought is the tool to break that cycle and design a life unbound by history. Choosing new thoughts requires vigilance. The mind naturally drifts toward comfort zones, familiar patterns, and old habits. To interrupt this drift, you must become aware of every mental loop that pulls you backward. Awareness is the first step toward transformation. When you recognize the thoughts that limit you, you gain the power to replace them with possibilities, hope, and constructive ideas that align with the person you want to become. Thoughts are seeds and your attention is water. If you feed worry, fear, or resentment, it grows into trees that block the light of your potential. If you feed clarity, courage, and creativity, your life blossoms in ways the past could never dictate. By consciously planting the right thoughts, you cultivate a mind that serves you rather than one that enslaves you to old mistakes or outdated identities. Consistency is essential. One moment of awareness is not enough to override decades of habitual thinking. Every day, you must consciously choose thoughts that reflect your desired path. Repetition strengthens new mental pathways and gradually dissolves the power of old ones. Each deliberate choice adds momentum to your freedom from the past, and slowly, the mind becomes a partner in creation rather than a prison warden. Choosing new thoughts is ultimately an act of reclaiming your power. You are not a victim of memory, circumstance, or inherited patterns. You have the capacity to redirect the energy of your mind toward growth, possibility, and mastery. When thought becomes intentional, your present becomes fertile ground for a future that is entirely your own, unburdened by what has already passed. Every thought you entertain shapes the reality you experience. The mind is not a passive observer, it is a powerful creator. When you allow old, negative patterns to dominate, you unconsciously reconstruct the past in your present. Each repetitive worry, fear, or regret becomes a blueprint for the life you continue to experience. Conscious thought is the tool to break that cycle and design a life unbound by history. Choosing new thoughts requires vigilance. The mind naturally drifts toward comfort zones, familiar patterns, and old habits. To interrupt this drift, you must become aware of every mental loop that pulls you backward. Awareness is the first step toward transformation. When you recognize the thoughts that limit you, you gain the power to replace them with possibilities, hope, and constructive ideas that align with the person you want to become. Thoughts are seeds and your attention is water. If you feed worry, fear, or resentment, it grows into trees that block the light of your potential. If you feed clarity, courage, and creativity, your life blossoms in ways the past could never dictate. By consciously planting the right thoughts, you cultivate a mind that serves you rather than one that enslaves you to old mistakes or outdated identities. Consistency is essential. One moment of awareness is not enough to override decades of habitual thinking. Every day, you must consciously choose thoughts that reflect your desired path. Repetition strengthens new mental pathways and gradually dissolves the power of old ones. Each deliberate choice adds momentum to your freedom from the past, and slowly, the mind becomes a partner in creation rather than a prison warden. Choosing new thoughts is ultimately an act of reclaiming your power. You are not a victim of memory, circumstance, or inherited patterns. You have the capacity to redirect the energy of your mind toward growth, possibility, and mastery. When thought becomes intentional, your present becomes fertile ground for a future that is entirely your own, unburdened by what has already passed. Gratitude transforms the way you perceive every experience you have lived. Painful moments, mistakes, and losses are often seen as burdens, but they carry lessons that shape your strength and wisdom. When you look at life through the lens of gratitude, even the harshest experiences become teachers rather than punishers. Every challenge you faced added depth, awareness, and resilience to who you are today. Loss is not emptiness, it is a signal to grow. Every ending, disappointment, or failure contains insight about what matters and what does not. When you focus on the lessons instead of lamenting the absence, you extract value from what seemed meaningless. Growth does not come from comfort, it comes from learning to rise after being knocked down, and gratitude helps you recognize the hidden opportunities within every setback. Gratitude allows you to reclaim power over your past. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and begin to see yourself as a student of life. Every hardship, every mistake, and every painful memory becomes a stepping stone rather than a chain. By appreciating what was, you free yourself from the weight of resentment and regret, creating space for clarity and forward movement. The perspective of gratitude strengthens resilience. When you internalize the lessons from the past, you are less likely to repeat the same errors, less likely to be shaken by setbacks, and more able to navigate life with composure. You begin to see the hidden patterns in your experiences and understand that nothing was wasted, even if it was difficult at the time. Living with gratitude toward the past transforms your present. You carry wisdom instead of wounds, clarity instead of confusion, and strength instead of fear. Every memory, whether joyful or painful, becomes a resource that empowers you to act wisely and courageously. When you embrace what the past taught you, you no longer carry its burden, you carry its gift. Every day offers the opportunity to redefine yourself. Who you were yesterday does not determine who you can be today. Each decision you make, each action you take, has the power to shape a new version of yourself that is freer, stronger, and wiser than before. You are not bound by old habits, old fears, or old expectations, you are defined by the choices you make in this moment. Stepping into who you want to be requires clarity about what truly matters. The mind often clings to comfort zones, familiar routines, and the opinions of others. Breaking away from these patterns demands courage and honesty. You must identify the direction you wish to move in and take deliberate steps, no matter how small, toward becoming that person. Every intentional action reinforces your transformation. Life is too precious to be spent dragging what is already gone. You deserve to breathe freely, to laugh without fear, to love without hesitation. Release the weight that doesn't belong to you anymore. The door to a new life is already open. All you must do is walk through it without carrying the past behind you.